For today's video, I built a system in a really stupid case I bought off Amazon. It's a bit of a weirdly shaped box for a case to come in. It's flat packed, isn't it? Oh, we've got some water damage on the box that makes it look a little bit like it's been through a digestive tract, but a really short digestive system, so only mild digestive damage. Oh, it's so limp. Okay, that's quite a nice paint finish we've got there. Feels reasonable. Then we've got some pieces of case here. And then under there we've got some more casey bits. But yeah, let's get it out of here and then kind of take it from there. We get this kind of loose bit. Ooh, some kidney bean glass panels. And then we also get some RGB acrylic, which has gotten me, I don't know, like 70% more excited about this build. It's actually quite well implemented as well, because you've got these like two metal plates on either side with a bit of acrylic sandwiched between them. And then there's LEDs in there as well. So this is quite a classy implementation of RGB acrylic, which is a sentence I didn't think I'd ever say. And after that excitement, I found the IKEA-style assembly instructions, which, even as somebody that's not much of an instructions person, I thought for this weird case, maybe role-playing as an instructions loser would save me a lot of suffering. How to use chassis feet. Open the box. Okay, we've done that. And then we need to align the 2 feet. Now, I'm assuming these 2 are the feet, which again are immaculately painted, although... Never mind, that's some pretty serious imperfection action we've got going there. Now, I'm not really sure how these are supposed to be aligned, so... There we go, I guess that's fine. And then the next step is to put the main body of the chassis on the foot base and tighten the screws. Okay. And then we take this thing and then pop it in. You bring the foot. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, it's already starting to look like a case, I guess. It doesn't look like a very sturdy thing, but it does look like a thing. So next up, we need to add the side wing assembly method. So I guess we're using these guys. Nice, these are smooth as a freshly shaved bald head. Okay, so I think it works like this. You kind of thread that through. And then we take these bling wings. And then we just stick these suckers through. Oh, I had it the wrong way around. Damn it, I've got to redo that one. There we go, now it all lines up way better. Now next up, we need to PCI bracket installation method. And to do this, we screw the holes of the PCI bracket and the screw holes of the chassis body to fix. Okay, that sounds simple enough. So I guess this... Yeah, it makes sense for it to be that way around. Now we just need to see, is this the correct screw? No, that's very much not the correct screw. No, I don't think that's correct either. Which was the beginning of a harrowing journey. Screw after screw, none of them worked. I found new bags with more screws, but they didn't work either. They just added to the confusion. I felt lost, scared, and alone. But as hope was beginning to forsake me. Wait, no way! I tried this screw like 8 times. Why is it working this time? Neat. Now the next couple of steps we're gonna skip because we don't have water cooling box that we need to install, and I'm not gonna worry too much about the HDD SSD installation either. So I guess now we need to do power installation method. Now I actually think they forgot to mention this in the manual, but I think we're gonna have to remove this cable cover for the power supply before we can actually mount the power supply in here. Power supply wise, I'm going to use this EVGA 650G3 because, well, it's the power supply I don't have in another system at the moment. Now the next step is water cooling installation, and apparently it only supports 240mm radiator. And I immediately ran into an AIO compatibility issue. Because the radiator is mounted on one side of the case and the motherboard on the other, tubing length is an issue. And considering that the Deepcool AIO I wanted to use has a really tall pump block, it wouldn't fit through the only hole close enough for the tubing to reach, which meant I had to use a different AIO. Hey, that fits very nicely. Oh. No way, what? Which neatly led me to problem number 2. Do they expect you to just mount the radiator flush to the side of the case? But there's nowhere for the air to go. I don't know, that feels a little bit weird, but at the same time, I think that's kind of hilarious. So I feel like I need to mount it to the side of the case just to see what happens. For science, I guess. In the instructions, they literally show the radiator mounted flush against the case. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not one to argue with instructions. I guess I just gotta do it like that. Wow, this feels really dumb, but it's what the instructions told us to do, so I guess we don't have a choice. Actually, no, never mind. You can clearly see a hole for air to go through here, so yeah, I don't see any problems here. Nice, that looks perfectly safe. Next, it's time for motherboard installation method. So after successfully installing the back panel device, install the computer motherboard, otherwise the back panel device cannot be installed. Okay, so considering that our back device has been successfully installed, I guess it's time for the front device. Wow, it's getting really heavy. Wait, I just realized that they don't give you enough standoffs. There were just 7 in the box. I don't know, that's fine. It's not like I was gonna screw them all down anyway. Now, in terms of motherboard and just core system, I'm using this Asus X570 board with a Ryzen 7 3700X in it. I've also got a 2TB SSD and 16 gigs of DDR4 3200 MHz. I think this system is a perfect test victim for this cooling configuration. Wait, these definitely aren't the correct screws, because look at how loose... look at how loose the motherboard still is. I feel like it was quite reasonable of me to assume these were the screws I needed to use, considering that they were the only screws in the bag with the standoffs, but apparently no. And there was even the same amount of those screws as standoffs. I like how much effort they put into motherboard clearance from the back panel, like you can fit a whole finger in there. And I feel like they definitely prioritized the correct clearance to worry about. Now next up is GPU installation method. Luckily, it supports all GTX 30 series cards, which is convenient considering that I'm going to install a GTX 3060 in this system. Next, we need to install the wire hidden box. And then finally, I think we just need the glass installation. There's no way that's correct. This has to be an ID10T problem. Oh, I guess that's what these little rubber gaskets are for. Ah, there we go. That's so much better. Wow, I feel like that's a very sturdy case. Nice. Ooh, look at that. Oof, the CPU is already at 61 degrees Celsius. Well, it's starting out promising. The CPU is sitting at about 65-ish degrees Celsius, but it's an AIO, so it means that all of the liquid in the radiator still needs to heat up. And I think once that gets thermally saturated, the PC is just gonna explode. The crazy thing is, I spent the next 50 minutes playing Battlefield 5 waiting for something catastrophic to happen, and it just never did. Okay, well, it's been an hour, and somehow the temperature hasn't increased. I don't know what's happening. It doesn't make any sense to me that this hasn't exploded yet. Yo, I guess those Be Quiet Silent Wing 4s defy the laws of physics. That's the only thing that makes sense here. Now, it's not going super well, considering that a 3700X being cooled by a Shadow Rock Slim 2 hits about 57 degrees Celsius while playing Battlefield 5, but still, it didn't explode. Now, not being quite satisfied with it not exploding, I decided to run some Cinebench for 2 hours.
2 hours later.
Now, it's officially been 2 hours, and we're still going strong. If it hasn't caught fire yet, I don't think it's going to. It doesn't make any sense, but clearly, having perforation behind a radiator is just communist propaganda. Now, after this mind-blowing realization, I did also remount the radiator using standoffs to get a little bit of clearance for some breathing room, which was a massive pain in the butt because you have to remove the entire motherboard first before being able to remove the radiator, which led to about 10 degrees lower temperatures while running Cinebench. And with that, what did we learn in today's video? Well, clearly ventilation is overrated, and IKEA isn't the only company that makes wobbly flat pack. And until the next video, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.